Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers, and sisters. This is episode 2 of my Let's Play Dungeon Siege 1 series. Now, our inventory here is getting a little bit full, so I can start ditching things. I mean, you know, the chair leg and the rock club are going to be worth nothing. What you can do is press K, and it can sort of basically do that. It sort of rearrange things to try and get some space. So, for instance, if I had another one of these bows that's 3 spaces long, I can't put it there because it crosses over this particular rake. But if I did that, I suddenly had the space down here to be able to do that. I'm going to put that bow there only because it's bigger than this one. I have no intention of using the bow. Just be wary that when you change your weapon like that, it automatically equips it. You can see Toby here has got his bow equipped because I've just put it in that slot. Bear that in mind, and remember to switch back to the type of weapon you wish to use. Now, bookcase. The bookcase is highlighted, so click on that, and out comes a book. History of the Crypt. So this is lore, basically. If you're not interested in the whole lore kind of thing, skip forward a moment. I am going to read this book out. Just southeast of the kingdom of... try that again. Just southeast of the kingdom town of Stonebridge lies the most honoured burial place in all of Ebb. Here the bodies and bones of all the kings and queens of Ebb are laid alongside the commanders, grand majors and heroes of the 10th Legion, consecrated by the returning 10th Legion as they fought to free Ebb from the tyranny of the Sec. The Crypt of the Sacred Blood is built on the site of one of the bloodiest battles of the Liberation. As Legion Commander Karesi Noani surveyed the dead following the battle, he ordered that a space be cleared in the centre and excavations be begun. That's a very weird sentence. From this day forth there shall be nothing accomplished that was not purchased with the blood of these valiant heroes, Noani is reported to have said. Over the centuries, wealthier families installed layer upon layer of secret passageways and traps to discourage looters from disturbing their interred loved ones. Today, the crypt is considered unnavigable, and most burials are instead performed in graveyards surrounding the crypt entrances. There is no need to hang on to the book once you have read it. It doesn't earn you XP reading it, it's just, as I say, just background story, lore, which I love all that. It kind of just adds another layer of immersion. You know, what's so significant about the places you're going to, and things like that. More crug. There's actually a snapper there. You can see the water's being splashed there. You can see the splashing of my boots. As far as I know, there he goes, wandered back. As far as I know, the snappers are no more powerful in water than they are on land. Where is he? There he is. There's another one. Now the water, it doesn't disguise them as well in map form. You can see that much more clearly. The Krug dog is quite clear to see there. If that water was a bit deeper, the dog might have been submerged in this view, but he wouldn't be in this. The dog disappeared into the ground. No, instant burial, I suppose. Wander over here, dying crops of the farmers. Die. As I said, that crack of lightning went off. Missed. Oh, 2 farm scrubs. The bigger ones can really hit you quite hard. Still actually hitting me quite hard. I can't believe he missed that many times. That's interesting. That second one didn't create a little molehill there. You can see with the projectiles I'm able to dodge it. Where the hell is he? There he is. I needed the map to highlight where that flat piercer was. Now you can dodge projectiles if the projectiles like that, so arrows, things like the flame shot, if it travels to its if it traverses the gap between you and your target. If it's instant cast like the zap, you cannot dodge it. It's a guaranteed hit. Ooh, charged fist. I know what that does. Now, here is times when you would want to think about using things like Zap to get your nature magic up just that little bit. What that does is it raises the maximum melee damage of the caster, so the person that's cast it by 1. So that would help my my own damage. So it's times like that that it can be useful to level up different magic skills. This is exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start using Zap. I didn't bother because those drops are completely random. In a test, you see I'm not missing the Krug Scout at all, but it's taking much, much longer to kill him. So it means he's getting much more damage on me. Okay, he's eventually down. But because it's a guaranteed hit, you know, I will get the leveling on him, but it's just going to take that much longer. Oops, boxes. Now, in a different test run I did, I actually got a brilliant spell called Transmute, which is rare as hell, and actually allows you to turn items into gold, which is great for if you've got your inventory, like me, full of junk. Now, bit of foreboding music there, and there is a reason for it. There he is, the bear. How apt, considering what my avatar is. Now I'm going to start hitting him from a distance, but I'm not going to keep hitting him. What you could do, because he attacks with melee, you can zap him a few times and run off. Yes, you could do that. I don't particularly fancy being here all day. When that bear hits you, he hits like a train. There you go. Clash. Watch that health bar drop. You can, I think, use a button to put your health bar over your character. I don't know what that button is. No, that's useful. But as you can see, I now need to hightail it away. Health potion. See, at times like this, you want to run off, get yourself some distance, and zap. Now, you might have noticed when the bear turned back, Toby stopped attacking. When they kind of get to the end of their aggro range and turn back, you automatically stop attacking them. You want to back off when that second orc goes to hit you. Switch back to the knife. 19 left. Toby Irenikus goes after starving bears with nothing but a blunt dagger. Now, whilst the drops are random, that one is always there. Atlan's leather. So these tattered leather has defensive 3, has defensive 10, and adds 5 to your health. Oh, is that very, 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 very helpful at this stage of the game. That one is always there. Most of the other drops are random. Items that are there on the floor, like that 32 gold, are always there. Oh, there you go. It's X to bring up. This can be quite useful, particularly if you've got a pack of... when you've got more people in your party and you're in a really, really heavy fight, it can be useful to have that, you know, right in where you're looking as opposed to having to look up here. Yeah, whatever you prefer. More Krug Scouts. I want to keep on leveling up the zap. Chickens! It's not leveling up the zap, it's leveling up the nature magic. I don't particularly want to spend all day doing it. Now, you might notice there's a bit of a glow on that frack, the frack and ballista. It is essentially, there's no, as far as I know, there's no particular title put on enemies like that. But they're kind of more of a heroic mob type. They hit harder and have more health. So instead of having just 6 or 4 health, this one has 15. And he's taking much longer to kill. And generally they will hit you harder as well. Now, because it's a frack, because it essentially is the fly, it's not doing a great deal. You can see my mana is dropping like a stone. But I'm getting that level up. I'm up to 30% through up to level 1. So I can start using that charged fist ability. Oh, this is... Yeah, it's going to take a while. Right, stop this. So the Ballista has got much more armour than his smaller counterparts. Now, if I switch to the normal frack, I've got that in 2 hits, whereas this big fella is taking a lot more punishment. And there he goes. You get away with using zap on the smaller ones, as they have much less health. There's another bone club there. So I'm getting to a point now where I'm going to have to start thinking about discarding things. I don't have transmute. There isn't a vendor. There isn't a shop nearby for a very long time now. A vast majority of people are going to drop things and never return to them. If you really wanted to, if you wanted to squeeze out those extra few gold coins, you could run all the way back and get all your items. I could never really bother to do that at this point in the game. There really is no point, because the gold might be sparse, but it's not that sparse. What are we up to now? We're up to 53. Dog, another Gremel, a pitchfork. Aha, now item cannot be equipped and does not fit into your inventory. So basically that item is is another one of those. So it's 4 blocks long and there's nowhere where I can put it straight away. So I'll press K to try and do it automatically, or I might have to shuffle things around manually. So for instance, there, that there, and that there, and I can then pick it up. Is it worth doing? Probably not. 6 to 10. You can do that, and I'm going to do it for a little while, but it is slower. But they do look quite dramatic, the two-handed swing. Now, you will end up with black areas like that, but I can't climb up there. You can't search absolutely everywhere. It's physically impossible. That's as close, kind of as close as you get. Look at that swing. Acid gas. It's kind of what I'm dropping a lot of at the moment. Surrounds the target with a small puff of acid, damaging enemies caught within. So it's a low damage AoE, area of effect, combat magic spell. Not going to be usable. But I'll put them in the spell, but just so it doesn't tie up space in the spell in my inventory. Oh, there's another scrub. He's over there. There's a scout. Now, as you can see, the scrub has quite a long range on it. He can't hit me from there. Of course, he's immobile, so he doesn't have an aggro range in the same sense as the mobile one, so he can't run away. He won't disappear back into the ground. If you really want to do, you could do this. You could hit once, move. I'm getting there. Okay, 68. 74. 78. It doesn't update live, so you can't just hover over it and watch the numbers go up. You have to keep, hover, move away, hover, move away. Here comes another Krug Scout. 2 Krug Scouts. Run. Because of my bit higher armour, I'm not so worried about having a few Krugs on me. We're nearly there. Zap, zap, zap. Ah, fine, boff. So I'm up to 94. Another mana potion. Yep. Grub dog. Oh, a couple of frack pierces as well. Are you worried about those? Come on, nearly there. 99, should ping in a minute. There we go. Another thing you can do, instead of going into here and swapping things over like that, well, a quick way of doing it. Press and hold your left mouse button there, and you can drag down to the spell you want. Now, the red ones, of course, are the ones you can't use. The blue ones are just the ones that are already in your relevant slots. Charge Fist is the one I want in there. So for now, I'm just going to switch back to the melee weapon. Smack the dog. Frack Piercer. 11 damage in one of those hits, because you can't attack as quickly with a two-hander as you can with a one-hander. Sounds obvious. And of course, at the moment we haven't found any shields. It does look much more dramatic. Now, Charge Fist. It does stack. So you can see at the bottom, when I hover over it, it says charged and then a countdown. You can just blast through your mana. Toby Irenikus don't have enough mana, so you could just stack and stack and stack. I would imagine it runs. You can't stack beyond the point. I've never tried to stack it so far that it won't let you cast it again. As you can see, it burns up a lot of mana to do. And it gives you a lovely sparkly effect on your weapon. On your hands, rather. Edgar. Always look around. Make sure you move the camera around, because sometimes things get hidden. Obviously, you can't see behind this wall from that camera angle. There might have been a barrel or something. There isn't in this case, but the game's very good at hiding.
I should have guessed you'd be cleaving your way to Stonebridge to find out what's got the Krug all stirred up. If you could spare a few minutes to help an old neighbour before you go, I've a favour to ask.
Completely optional question. You don't have to do it. You don't have to talk to Edgar, but it's more XP.
When I realised the Krug were actually attacking us, I tried to get to the safety of my cellar, but they had a little welcome party waiting for me. If you need any supplies for the long trek to Stonebridge, and wouldn't mind clearing out the remaining Krug downstairs, you can help yourself to whatever you need from my stalls.
Wonderful. You can see the journal. You heard, you see at the top here, a new quest has been added to your journal. You heard that pling noise, call it what you will, and of course the journal is flashing in red. Clear Edgar's basement. Again, like before,
when I realised
you can replay that text.
I didn't think they had it in them to raise a hand against us. I guess I was wrong. Don't worry about me. Once you've cleared the Krug out of my basement, I should be able to stay safe until this whole thing passes.
But that could be years. I may not return to this game for another 20 years. How much supplies do you have in there, sir? You haven't aged from 15 years ago when I last played this game. Well, no, I last played this game, but you know what I mean. So this is his cellar then. And on we go. More scouts. Come at you! Torches on the walls. Some of them you can click on. These ones you can't. Right, scavengers. Now there's a button on the wall. What it does is it sends the lift down on its own, and that will then highlight the enemies that are down there, or you can do the full hardy way and jump on and grab that mana potion. I'm going to do that, because it sends the lift straight away. Now you could just pull on the lever straight away if you panic, and set yourself straight back up again. Brankar the Scavenger. Along with 3 scouts. This is a bit more of a challenging fight. Now, if you hadn't killed that bear, you would have been really taking a lot of damage at this stage. I mean, I'm taking a bit of a beating already. So bearing in mind that I over-doubled, well, trebled, really, my armor rating from 3 to 10. And there you go, the quest is done. Money, 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 cudgel, warm leather doesn't fit. You could just replace that, so... I thought you could pick that up and replace something, but not. So I could put that down and pick that up. So defense rating of 4. There isn't really anything else you can do here unless you start like ditching some potions, which we could of course do. I'm really not going to be using mana potions now, so let's get rid of these. I doubt I'm going to be using that many health potions, so that then allows us to pick that up. I couldn't tell you what's worth more money, potions or armour or weapons or whatever. As you can see, that quest has now gone black. So we would now need to go back to Edgar to pick up our reward. So we break all these boxes. Another common RPG rule: loot everything. You might think, okay, fine, time to go back up. Wrong. See that icon? I can knock down a wall with a pitchfork! You can make that a bit more dramatic by using like the fire shot on it, for instance. What's in the locker? Money. Tattered leather, that's another one of those. And a staff. That's going to be worth more than the hose, so that's 6 to 8, that's 6 to 10, so we'll stick with the pitchfork for now. Health potion. The walking stick is as literal as it sounds, but it's probably going to work more than that. That's 1 to 2. The rake was 1 to 2 as well, I think. I mean, you're not going to lose a mass amount of money at this stage by picking the wrong things to take. It's not going to be that drastic. Leech life, as obvious as it sounds, it drains the life of the target and gives it to the caster. It just uses a bucket load of mana to do. Not one I can use. I have tried starting this game with a caster. I have tried starting this game with a ranger. I prefer starting with a... See, I always use the phrase Krug to indicate someone that is a melee. Someone of melee orientation. Because I can't do that in this game because Krug is the main...
My thanks for clearing out the Krug. If they're coming after farmers in our own homes, I don't doubt you'll battle many more on your journey to Stonebridge. You'd best be on your way. Watch out for yourself, and don't worry about me. I've enough supplies in the cellar to keep me going until this blows over.
You haven't, because I've looted your cellars. What we'll do, we'll drop that one and pick up the fresh one. But we won't bother with anything else. And on we go then. How much charge have I got left? 200 and... So let's charge up again. See, here's a very good way of... However, I've built up a little bit more nature magic. It is a tiny, tiny amount because you're not killing anything, you're not hitting anything. But it's still that little bit on nature magic that I wouldn't have had before. Oh, there's another farm scrub. I don't tend to hang around with those. They can hurt. That's such a great move. Pick that up now. I'm not going to leave that behind. Let's get rid of that. Move that down. Pick up the bow. 3 to 6. Yeah, well, I know that's bigger, so I'm not going to use it, but it's just physically bigger, so it's not taking up my inventory space. Another health potion. I'll pick it up. Why not? It's only 1 inventory space anyway. And always drop it again. So you can easily see items that are on the floor. You can't see the names until you get close to them. But if you were running back to pick up these items to later sell, I mean, why you'd run this far back is a mystery for just a handful of gold, but there we go, some people might. You can easily locate them. How about you? Come on. There is transmute. Brilliant. Let's just get rid of that. I will show you what transmute does. It is a great spell, this. And because I've leveled up to level 1, because he requires nature magic level 1, I don't need to do any leveling to use it. I point at the item and press C. It turns items I don't want into a gold. Well, into a basically into a fraction. Oh, whoops, I'm trying to attack the frac with transmute. That's why he wasn't doing it. Oh, wonderful. It's quite rare, that spell. And the chair leg's not going to be worth much more than a gold anyway. Oh, it is a really small fraction, so if you're fairly close to a vendor, you won't want to be doing that on a regular basis. But at this stage of the game, you're not losing out a great deal, really, because the items are worthless. And we're a really, really long way away from a vendor, and that is episode number 2. We haven't really gone anywhere. If we're honest, we haven't travelled very far. And we've already done 2 episodes. However, trying to keep these at about 25 minutes. Just to keep in line with the rest of my stuff. So thank you very much. We'll see you next time. See you then. Bye-bye.